He thought she was just another greedy maid sneaking food from his fridge until he followed her home. What he discovered that night shattered his arrogance and reminded him that kindness is worth more than wealth. Sometimes, the ones you look down on are the ones holding your humanity together. The marble floors of Harrison Cole's mansion glimmered under the morning light. He was one of the richest men in the city, owner of Cole Enterprises, a global logistics empire. But the house felt empty, quiet, and cold, just like him. He'd fired more staff in a year than most people met in a lifetime. Efficiency, he always said. No mistakes, no excuses. His newest maid, Maria, a humble black woman in her early 40s, had worked there only 3 weeks. She was quiet, polite, and always early. Harrison barely noticed her until one morning he did. He was heading to his office when he saw it, Maria standing in front of the refrigerator, door slightly open. Her back was turned, hands trembling as she stared at the food. His jaw clenched. Not again. He stormed in. "What do you think you're doing?" Maria spun around, terrified. "Sir, I wasn't—" "You weren't what? Stealing food? Checking what you can take?" Tears welled in her eyes. "No, sir. I swear I—" "Save it." He yanked open the fridge. Everything was there, untouched, but anger had already poisoned his judgment. "You're done. Pack your things." "Mr. Cole, please," she whispered. "I said you're fired." His voice echoed across the marble like thunder. She lowered her head, hands shaking. "Yes, sir." By afternoon, she was gone. But something about her face, that crushed, desperate look, wouldn't leave his mind. That night, while preparing a business report, Harrison caught himself staring at the untouched dinner the chef had left. He sighed, frustration rising. For some reason, he couldn't stop picturing her trembling hands. Why the fridge? Why today? Against his own logic, he grabbed his keys and drove out. Her address was still on her employment form. It was past 9 when he pulled up outside a crumbling apartment complex downtown, a stark contrast to his mansion. Dim lights flickered. The air smelled of dust and rain. He climbed the stairs quietly and followed the sound of soft coughing. Through a half-open door, he saw something that made him freeze. Maria sat on the floor beside a frail teenage boy wrapped in blankets. A small table lamp flickered beside them. In front of her sat a half-empty cup of water and one slice of bread. The boy's voice was weak. "Mama, did you eat?" Maria smiled faintly. "Of course, baby. I ate at work." Harrison's throat tightened. He saw her hands trembling the same way they did this morning. She wasn't stealing food. She was checking if she could take leftovers home for her sick son. She reached into her pocket, pulling out a photo, a younger version of her family, smiling before tragedy struck. Then she whispered a quiet prayer. "Lord, please forgive me. I didn't mean to lose that job. I just needed to feed him." Harrison couldn't move. Guilt burned through him like fire. His heart pounded, face pale. He quietly stepped back down the stairs, shame gripping every breath. The next morning, Maria woke up to a knock. She opened the door to find Harrison standing there, in his crisp suit, holding a bag of groceries. Her eyes widened. "Mr. Cole?" He looked uncomfortable, remorse thick in his voice. "May I come in?" She hesitated, then nodded. He stepped inside, looking around at the bare apartment. "You live here?" "Yes, sir. It's temporary. My son's been sick. I do my best." Harrison swallowed hard. "Maria, I owe you an apology. I was wrong yesterday. You were angry. It happens. No, he said firmly, it shouldn't have happened. He took a deep breath. I fired you because I assumed the worst, but I saw the truth, and it broke me. Her lips trembled. You saw? He nodded slowly. You weren't stealing. You were worried about feeding your boy. Tears spilled down her cheeks. He hasn't eaten properly in days. I was just checking if there was food I could take home after my shift. I never meant harm. Harrison's eyes glistened. You shouldn't have to beg for scraps while people like me waste more food in a day than others see in a week. He took a step closer. Maria, you're rehired, permanently. Double your pay, medical coverage for your son, full benefits, and… He placed an envelope on the table. A little help. She hesitated, opening it. Her hands shook as she saw a check for $20,000. Sir, I can't take this. He interrupted softly. You're not taking it. You've earned it. You reminded me what humanity looks like. Her knees buckled, tears flowing freely. I don't know what to say. He smiled sadly. Just promise me you'll forgive a fool who forgot what kindness feels like. Weeks passed. Maria's son, Isaac, started recovering. Harrison visited often, not as an employer, but as a friend. He brought books for Isaac and even helped repaint their apartment. One afternoon, Isaac asked shyly, Mr. Cole, why did you help us? Harrison smiled faintly. Because your mom reminded me that even the richest man can be the poorest in heart. Maria stood behind him, eyes soft with gratitude. You didn't just help us, sir. You changed us. He looked at her, his voice quiet. No, Maria, you changed me. Months later, Harrison stood on a stage at a company event. Cameras flashed, reporters scribbled notes as he announced his newest initiative, the Humanity Fund, a charity dedicated to relieving struggling families. When a reporter asked what inspired it, Harrison paused, looking towards Maria and Isaac, seated in the front row. Someone once showed me that a person's worth isn't measured by what's in their bank account, but what's in their heart, he said, voice trembling. Applause thundered through the room. Maria clapped with tears streaming down her face, whispering a quiet prayer of thanks. And for the first time in years, Harrison smiled, not the smile of a man who built empires, but one who finally found peace.
I am Liam, and trust me, the next HOA story is even worse. Subscribe now.